step that you can take. Is it posting on social media? Is it sending an email? Is it making sure that you have a web page up where people can find you? I would argue that the most important step that you can take in your marketing is talking to your audience and finding out what they need from you and what their dreams are for the thing that you help them with. And so therefore, this key marketing step that most people miss is talking to your customers, not after they've bought, but before they've bought, talking to your prospects to find out what they need from you so that you can align what you offer and your messaging with what they've told you they need and they want from you. So that's what I want to talk about with you today, is talking to your customers. In fact, let me ask you this question. When's the last time you talked to your customers? Tell me that in the comments. When's the last time that you spoke with your customers to find out what they want and need from you? And the thing is this, it doesn't matter what you offer. This is a key step. No matter if you offer a service or a product or a combination of a service and a product, talking to your customers ahead of your marketing is going to align your messaging and your offer with what they've told you they need. And the reason I wanted to talk about this with you today is because this is what I'm doing this week and next. I sent out an email on Monday, and then I sent out some other emails throughout this week, connecting with people and getting people on my calendar where I could spend a 20-minute window of time with them, finding out what they envision for themselves and what, the work that they're doing, so that I understand not just in their perspective, but in their language, what it is that they're trying to do. And so, and the reason, by the way, I'm doing this is because I'm working on a new-ish program. It's something that I did once before, but I've got this program coming out in just a couple months, and I want to make sure it's aligned with what they need, right? We don't want to just bring something to the market and be like, here you go. What do you think? We want to know ahead of time. What do they think? What are they looking for? What do they need? And maybe more importantly, what do they want? So that we can give that to them in a way that serves them. Because if we're not serving them, they're not going to buy it, right? So we need to know ahead of time, not after the fact. And that's what we're talking about here. And so the people I'm talking with this week are people who are intimidated by marketing or don't feel that they know what they're doing with marketing, and that yet they need to market, but they're also afraid. There's a combination. Historically, I say that I serve introverts, that I help introverts market themselves and thrive in a world that feels fit for extroverts. It's a little broader than that. I also just something in alignment with what introverts often, not always, but often feel is some intimidation around marketing, some fear around putting themselves out there. And so these are the people I've been talking to this week, asking them what do they want and what do they need, and perhaps less obviously, how do they say it? And I keep saying what do they want and what do they need, and I want to get into that for a second. So before I go any further, if you're just joining me, tell me in the comments, when's the last time you talked to your customer? Was it last week? Was it a few months ago? Specifically to ask them these kinds of questions. I would love to know. So the questions we're looking at here are, what do they want and what do they need? Most customers know what they want. They don't always know what they need. And here are some examples. Let's say you sell jewelry. What they want isn't necessarily the next pair of earrings. What they want is to feel beautiful. I'm guessing here. I haven't talked to your customers. But they might want not so like when I get earrings, right? I want something that's going to accent my face and go well with my skin and my hair and my outfit, right? I'm looking for something in the line of looking, pretty or beautiful or stepping up my look a little bit. What I need is a piece of jewelry that does those things. Does that make sense? Tell me in the comments if that what I want and what I need makes sense. Here's another one. When you think about your business and your marketing, what you want might be to have more sales so you can grow your business. What you need is a sustainable marketing plan that you can do over the long term. So that's what I want and what I need. And those are the conversations I'm having with my audience this week. And I wanted to bring that to you because it feels, even as I'm talking to my audience, like I'm stepping back and being like, oh my gosh, I'm going back to basics. But what I'm doing, and going back to basics is always a good thing. whether it's fitness or our skills, or in this case, making sure that what I have in the works that's coming out in the next month or two is in line with what my audience needs. So the way that we do this, and I want to get into how I do this, how do I talk to my audience? And I just said a few minutes ago, I sent an email out to my audience, and I sent an email through my newsletter, but I also sent it to some specific communities where I know there are people that I serve, and just asked them for 20 minutes of their time. And I've set up interviews with a ton of people. I talked to like 6 people yesterday, which is a lot for me. I went to bed last night. I was tired, but and emotionally tired. The introverted side of me was like, oh my God, I'm done. That kind of thing. But I got up, talked to somebody this morning, and this is, I'm willing to fill my schedule with this because it's so important. It is so key that I talk to my audience, because if it doesn't serve them, I'm wasting my time, right? And it's the same. That's why I wanted to bring it to you. This is a step that people skip because I think this is a step we don't know about. We need to talk to the people we're here to serve if we want to serve them in the way that they need to be served, in the way that they would best be served by what we have to offer. We want to make sure we're giving them what they want and also what they need. So what does this look like? Right, okay, and I want to go here because I've had my own members and my clients do the same thing. I'm sitting here saying you need to talk to your customers. Great. What do I say? What do I talk to them about? What do I ask them? And there's basically one question that you want to ask them, and that is, when you're doing the thing that you offer, what are they looking for, right? So I'm asking questions around, so when you're doing your marketing to build your business, what are you trying to accomplish? That's kind of where I begin my conversation. And then I go from there and I back up into trying to get into a bigger picture of what does that look like for them. And I'm listening to 2 things. I'm listening to what it is they envision for themselves. Like, really, what do they see? And where I think they're going. I think they want to make more sales and grow their business. That sounds very straightforward. But what does that look like for each of them? And then as I talk to more than 20 people over the next 2 weeks, where are the consistencies across, and patterns across all of these different conversations? What do I hear many times? And what other ideas might I hear? Spot check a little bit here and there, but I suspect might be a little bit more common. The other benefit, I want to put this in here, that I'm getting in talking to my people about what it is what it is they're trying to accomplish that I can help them with, is I'm getting some better ideas. So I'm getting some better ideas. I'm going to finish my sentence here with the program that I'm pulling together. So I said, I've got something coming down the pike. I'm just giving you a little hint about what's coming. But in the next couple months, I have a program that I ran a few years ago that I'm going to run again, but I want the times change. Last time I ran it was pre-COVID. I'm going to run it again, but I'm going to change it up a lot. And some of the ideas I'm getting from the people I'm talking to are what needs to be in this program to serve them, right? They're telling me what they want, and I'm understanding what they need so that I can make sure this program that's coming down the pike has them in mind, right? They need this, they want this, and they need this. And I need to give them both what they want and what they need, because they know what they want. People don't always know what they need, right? I know what I want. I'm going back to my jewelry. I want to level up my look. I want to accent however I'm wearing, whatever I'm wearing and however I'm looking. But what I need, going into a jewelry store, I don't know what that is. I just know I want to level it up. So what does that look like? Am I looking at earrings? Am I looking at a necklace? What are the options? And so I start to understand, I start to see what I need in order to get what I want. And so when it comes to these conversations I'm having, this week and next week with people that I serve. So introverts and people who are just intimidated by marketing or feel like they're stuck with marketing. They hate marketing, but they need to market themselves. So how are they going to do that? I'm talking to all these people and I'm getting a sense of, oh, here's a common problem. I need to make sure that the program I'm running addresses that. And so I'm starting to think about which module that'll be in and what that's going to look like. And it's forming up. And I'm really excited because there are some things that I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. And yeah, that's clearly an essential piece. So, do you like these hints I'm dropping about what's coming? So it's starting to really come into my head about what this program is going to look like. That's going to be very different from when I offered it a few years ago. So that's really exciting. But it really got me thinking, I need to talk to you about this, right? It's so essential when we've got something we're putting out there, even if we've been putting it out there. I do this every few years anyway, where I go back and I say every few years in large groups like this, we should be always talking to our audience whenever we have an opportunity to listen to what they have to say. But I do it in large groups like this, especially right before I'm kicking out a program, to make sure that I'm doing what they actually need. And it informs the program that I'm putting out there, which is really, really exciting. Again, the question really is, what is asking my audience, what are you trying to, what does success look like? Or what does, in my case, I'm asking a question around, what are you trying to accomplish? And what does that look like? And then I do what are called probing questions, to get even deeper into that. But it's a great opportunity to get in the mind of my customer. Now, this is something, and I started to say this is something that we should be doing on an ongoing basis anyway. And so if you do some networking, or you're hanging out somewhere, or you run into somebody and you realize that this person is what you consider to be an ideal client or somebody that you would like to work with, asking them a question like this is a great, let's go deeper, connecting kind of a conversation. And then the trick into all of this is to listen, is to really listen, to ask a question. It's really easy for us when we ask a question to do it in a conversational manner where we ask, they talk, maybe they say something, we talk. And what I'm talking about here is not a conversational kind of a discussion. It is more of an interview. And so asking a question and letting them go where they will with it is going to be incredibly informative. So it's important, if you decide to take me up on this and do that key step that most people skip and talk to your prospects and customers about what they need and want from you and what you offer, make sure you listen. Make sure, and here's a trick when it comes to listening, if you realize that you're wanting to interrupt or wanting to make it a two-way conversation where it needs to be more interview, where you ask a question and let them go, the trick that I've learned, and I've heard this from a couple places, which is why I do it. If I find that I want to interrupt, I swear it's a trick, but it works. Try it. I take my tongue and I stick it to the roof of my mouth and I hold it there. And that pressure kind of makes me pause, and it actually turns my ears on a little bit and I hear a little bit better. And we're listening at a couple different levels, right? We're listening for what they say. We're listening for what they don't say, right? There's that multi-level listening going on. I'm listening for what they say, just what they envision, but I know that we all walk in, especially if we run our businesses and have been for a while, we walk in with a sense of expectation. I think I know what they're going to say. And so listening for some of that, but listening for different as well. What are they saying that I didn't expect? And I'm hearing that all the time, which is really exciting because I can't assume that I know what they're going to say. And this is helping to defend that. But I'm also getting deeper into what they envision for themselves. And I'm getting their language, and I'm getting some just really great insight. I'm getting some really good metaphors that I'm really excited about. And I'm getting some ideas for what I need to put in this program in order to serve them. And that has been incredibly powerful. And, so here's my question for you. It's kind of a yes or no. Are you going to go talk to your customers? And if you are, tell me when you're going to do it. But my best step was putting it out in my email and saying, I need your help. I need to talk to some people about this. I've got a program coming up and I just need some information. Can you help me? And got a great response. And I'm learning about my customer more than stuff that I knew, but stuff I didn't know, right? There's lots of new understanding that's coming to me that I wasn't expecting. And I've been working with these people for years. And you hear stuff and you're like, oh, giving them the room to talk to you in a non-pressure environment. There's no sales going on. I'm just asking them has been incredibly helpful for them. And it's been helpful for me, and it's been helpful for them. So yes, it's giving me all this great information, but because I'm inviting my audience to think more deeply about where they're going and what they want and what they're doing, I can see little light bulbs going off in their head too. They're coming up with really exciting ideas or energy or hope or optimism or insight that's going to help them in the moment as well. So it actually isn't just serving me. And this was something I always worry about. I don't want to take somebody's time up and not have it serve them too. It's actually been very helpful for them. And that's really, really exciting. Sometimes I get a few questions that I'm absolutely happy to answer because they've given me their time. By God, I'm going to definitely answer some questions. But even helping them think a little bit more differently about what they're doing or think bigger about what it is this journey is all about and where they're trying to go is helping them get perspective. And that is powerful. So my question for you is, have you talked to your customer lately? And if you haven't, and even if you have, I invite you to do that. That's it for now. I'm here every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I hope you join me again next week. I'll be seeing you then. Until then, have a fantastic weekend. Take care.